What do you do about the feelings of sadness, emptiness, and purposelessness that you feel at the end of graduation? This is a message to those who have tried to do something after graduation. Perhaps it's video editing or social media or some sort of sport or some sort of hobby, but just haven't found the same purpose, the same direction that they had in high school, even the same sort of friends or the same sort of life that they had. This video is specifically for them because that is who I was. 2 years ago, I'd graduated from school, and genuinely for the last 3 months of the end of the year, I had studied every single day for 12 hours, waking up at 5, going for a walk and planning my day and starting at 6, and then literally from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. studying. That's what my life was. And I knew where I was going, and that was beautiful. And all I had to do was pedal as hard as possible, and I ended up doing really well. And to this day, it is one of the most happiest periods of my life. And what the last 2 years have taught me, from genuine painstaking effort, from trying video editing, to trying a video agency, to trying drop shipping and all of these different businesses, and thinking that perhaps that is how I get this void in my heart, this void in my purpose to actually stop existing. So I'll give you the secret right now. In school, in high school, you had that purpose and you knew exactly where you were going. It was a number, some sort of thing, and it wasn't just a number. You knew the certain subjects that you had to do, the certain things, the certain marks that you had to get, the averages, the assessments that go into it. You have 4 assessments and 2 essays and this many assessments that you have to do, and if you just practice this many times, you're going to get the result. And so everything's planned out. You already know the path. So how I want to describe the situation you're in right now is like you riding a bicycle. When you were in high school, from the finish line to the midpoint to the start and all the obstacles in the middle, you knew each and every single thing and what you had to do. And when you knew all of these things, all you had to do was pedal hard, right? And you pedaled with friends. It was a competition and it was fun. So when you got there, you had this great sense of accomplishment, but now all of a sudden, you have nowhere to go. The situation you're in reminds me of Alice in Wonderland, when Alice was at a fork, and she didn't know where she wanted to go, so she asked the Cheshire Cat, the cat with a smile, she asked the cat, "Where do I go?" And the cat simply replied, "It depends on where you want to go." And she said, "I don't know." And the cat simply replied back, "Then both paths will take you there." So the only difference between you now versus when you were at high school is that when you were on the bike, you knew where you wanted to go. Right now, you don't know where you want to go. So whenever you're trying to pedal and whenever you're trying to do the same habits that you used to do, whenever you try to claim the same amount of discipline and the same amount of confidence that you had, you fail, you fall, and you falter because you're pedaling without actually knowing where you're going. And it's like you pedaling in the dark or with your eyes closed. How long can you actually do that before you crash out? Not long. And so what you're experiencing right now is a lack of purpose, long story short. And right now you're probably wondering, okay, that's pretty simple. What do I do about that? Here's what you do. I found, very simply, you have to know where you want to go. And a lot of people think that it's as simple as saying, I want to make $10,000 a month. I'll just do these habits. And they focus perhaps on just the goal and then all of the millions of things that they have to do in between. And they just overwhelm themselves. And after maybe 2 weeks, after maybe even 2 days of doing what they said they were going to do, doing what they said they were going to do and how they're going to change their life, they stop or they procrastinate or they just relapse. And after a week of wasting time, they start all over again. And you have this rapid cycle of genuine misery, because the problem is that's not how you approach having a purpose, having a clear path. So you have to think about the goal more specifically than I want to make $10,000 a month. I want to do this or I want to do that. You have to visualize it. And you have to visualize every single detail. This is your why. You have to remember that. Without any sort of motivation, without dopamine, you would be dead. You wouldn't be able to move. You wouldn't be able to do anything. No action would have meaning because you don't have a why. That is why people with extreme Parkinson's cannot move. It's because they don't have dopamine. That is the motivation system of our own body. And so when you want to do these great things in life and you have these great goals, these big aspirations, and you don't know the details of it, you're simply doing the same thing. You have this vague goal. You have this vague goal and you have this vague path. And all that's going to happen, like the 99% of the population, is you're going to lead a very vague life. And you're going to live life like it's an accident because you don't have the details planned out. When you were in high school, you knew every single detail because it was controlled, but now you're in a much more chaotic state. You can do much more, but also much less. Because you're not forced to do anything. It's all going to come from you. Before you had this extrinsic motivation, but now you don't have anything. It's all got to come from within. So we've got to build that up from scratch. We have to, therefore, have a really strong why. And how you have a really strong why is visualizing every single detail. And I'll give you some prompts. Where do you wake up? In your dream lifestyle, where you have achieved everything that you've possibly ever wanted, where do you wake up? What kind of bed do you wake up in? Like the frame, think about it. Is it a high set bed, low set bed? What kind of sheets? And also, who do you wake up next to? How do you wake up? And in what room do you wake up? What's the color? Where is it located? Is it a penthouse? Is it some beautiful mansion? What location is it? Maybe it's still your parents' house. It doesn't matter. And if you know that room, right, and you wake up and you visualize yourself doing what you would do in your dream lifestyle, so waking up and going to the bathroom and looking in the mirror and you've got, like 90 kilograms of just pure muscle tissue, and you visualize these details from like the black tiles you step on and the coldness of it to what you're going to do after taking your cold shower and what do you do? And from there, from this beautiful perspective of already achieving everything and coming from this place of achievement, you live in the future. And so your present becomes the past, and all you're doing is you're working towards your goal, and you have a really strong why, to the point of delusion. In the JRE podcast, they said that madness and greatness are next door neighbors, and they simply borrow each other's sugar once in a while. So if you want to be great, what you have to understand is that you have to be delusional. Delusional to the point where you're crazy. Crazy to the point where you know exactly where you want to go. Where you know exactly what you need. What do you need? What kind of car do you want? Not just a Lambo, not just whatever. Think about the things that you want. Think about the expression of your parents when you tell them what they're going to get. That they're going to retire, that they're going to get this house. Think about the conversations that you would have, the type of people that you would meet at parties, and how just people would interact with you, how people would react to you and talk to you, and how they would respect you, how your woman or your man would look at you. And if you think about these things and you visualize them as so, what you start doing is you create a very strong why. That is how you start. That is how you create that clear path. But that's not all. Because in high school, you were reminded about it every single day. Oh, you have to do this assessment. Remember about this assessment. Do this assessment. And you had this extrinsic motivation. But now this has to come from within. So you have to make this a morning habit where you visualize your dream lifestyle and you write it down on paper. So what I have right now is a book. And what you should do every single morning is for 10 to 15 minutes, just visualize your dream lifestyle and write down the details. And if you can write down the details, you are exercising that why. And it's like you making the clarity of your vision clearer and clearer and clearer. And the quality of what you get in life will only equate to how clear that vision is. And so when you know exactly where you want to go, you will be much more motivated to do the things necessary. Because we both know that you don't lack the motivation or the discipline. It's simply a matter of finding the why and having a very strong why and making sure that it's something that you implement every single day. If you forget it one day, Believe it or not, it'll be like you looking down from your bike for 5 minutes. In those 5 minutes, although you'll be on the path, the likelihood of you falling, tripping, or losing your path, losing your way is a lot higher. And therefore you would be uncertain, scared, and you get all these emotions like despair, like loneliness. And what's been going through my head recently, this song by Drake, and it's called 9. And it's last night I decided I'm willing to die for it. That's the kind of mindset you should have.